My presentation is not very scientific, it's geared towards everybody. So I'm going to speak about the future of space exploration and the role of Cyprus in space exploration. The first question I'm going to ask is, why space? A lot of people say, stand this way, a lot of people say that, do we waste money in space because we have too many problems on Earth? Political problems, medical problems, food problems, why we go to space? The space technologies bring to Earth many benefits. The most simple benefit that I can describe here today is GPS. Everybody uses GPS. And without that, the ships, the aeroplanes, even our own phones will not work the way we know. But the most important reason why we do space exploration is because humans are natural explorers. From the time we are babies, we start to explore. And if we go to the ancient times, to ancient Greece, we were exploring from one island to the other, from Africa to Spain to Italy, colonizing the ancient world. And we see here how exploration of humanity started in the ancient years and then continued. Christopher Columbus, and then after that, the next step for exploration, the natural step for exploration, is to go to the next planets, possibly Mars. So what's coming next for humanity? I will take you through a short journey. Mars is the next big goal. We go to the moon many times, but now it's very important to have a Mars colony. It's very important for the survival of humanity, but it's also very important to find minerals that, to stop using the minerals and destroy our planet, we can use minerals from asteroids and other planets. So the plan is to start colonizing Mars by setting up the first small capsules like you see here, and make greenhouses to produce food so that people on Mars can eat. And everything will be inside a protected environment, because if we go outside on Mars, the air and the pressure is not correct for humans. We cannot survive. But then the next plan is, many hundred years later, is to terraform Mars. It means to release lots of gases, oxygen and other gases in the atmosphere, but also to recreate the magnetic field of Mars that does not exist today with artificial means, so that we can slowly turn Mars into, let's see, from this, slowly into a planet that is like Earth. So in effect, we will turn Mars from what is today into like that. And all the polar caps will melt and create water on the surface of Mars. We will make a second Earth. And the technologies needed to do this will benefit back to Earth. So it will be a two-way street. We make technologies for Mars, but the technologies for Mars come and help science, exploration, and technology on Earth. And from today, you see many companies, commercial companies, that are using spaceports on Earth, commercial spaceports, to take the first tourists into space. The first tourist was sent from Roscosmos a few years ago, but now they are trying to commercialize it to almost everybody. The price is reduced. Today the price is 200,000 euros to go to space. But soon, instead of going to an exotic island for holidays, we will be going maybe to space for holidays. And many people have already bought their tickets to go to space to have an experience like this one. And the next step is to have space hotels that will look something like this at the beginning, and then later the space hotels will expand and it will be a luxurious, beautiful experience like what you see here. And of course, the International Space Station, many decades in the future, will expand to become a big space station similar to the one you see here. And on Earth, there are many technologies that are trying to change the way we travel from city to city. One project that was proposed to the European Space Agency is the doklad, which, as you see, is much bigger than the biggest aeroplane we have today, commercial aeroplane. So this aeroplane, the doklad, will be traveling from London to Sydney in only 3.5 hours. And of course, if we look much, much further in the future, this is a futuristic project. It's called the space elevator. You will be able to get a lift from the Earth and go all the way into space without needing rocket propulsion. But this is a project that needs a lot of new technologies. We're not ready for something like this. It's a proposal. And a station in space could look like this, connected to Earth and with big facilities in space. And of course, if I speak about the moon, we sent probes, we sent humans on the moon. Now all the space agencies, Roscosmos, European Space Agency, NASA, the Chinese, are all speaking about cooperation to have a moon base. And a moon base is very important for humanity because from the moon, it will be easier to go into space. And of course, as I said before, the minerals on Earth are starting to run out, or to find the minerals on Earth, we destroy our planets. But there are so many minerals in thousands of asteroids. So the goal for many commercial companies is to grab asteroids and to start mining the asteroids like this. And to build spaceships from the materials we collect from the asteroids. And these spaceships, 100 years in the future, will be able to push humanity not to the next planets, but maybe even to the next stars. I'm gonna ask now the most important question for humanity. Are we alone in the universe? For me, ever since I remember, it was the most fascinating question. I had a small journey, a video journey into space, but I'm not sure if we have the time. Should I show videos or should I should show the video?
Yeah.
I will show a short video that shows how vast the universe is. Solar systems similar to ours. And all the gases you see, it's gases made from stars. So this is our own galaxy, and we're moving away from the galaxy. And the rest of the dots you see is other galaxies. And there are billions and billions of galaxies in the universe. Observable universe, because light takes longer to travel from the edge of the universe than the creation of the universe at the Big Bang. So, in all these billions of galaxies, and each one of these galaxies has got billions of stars, what is the chance of us being alone? I say impossible. If we think that we are alone in all these billions of stars, then we must be the most selfish species in the universe. So the big question is, what brought life to Earth? Or was life created or started on Earth? This is how our Earth and the Moon was created. We have a primitive version of the Earth and another planet called Theia. And scientists believe that Theia crashed on Earth. And we had a massive explosion that ejected lots and lots of debris, material, rotating around the Earth. That material created a ring around the Earth, and that ring slowly connected together, and that became our moon. And that is why when we sent probes and man onto the moon, we discovered that the ground on the moon is from similar composition to the ground on Earth. And that's why we came up with this theory. They must have both been created from similar material. So that leads us to the theory of panspermia. All these meteorites that crashed onto the Earth maybe contain organic molecules or those minerals that were necessary for life to be created. A few years back, around the year 2000, a rock was found in Antarctica, and it had this feature on it. And everybody thought that when this rock was analyzed and we found that it was from Mars, everybody said that we are the Martians, because bacteria from Mars arrived onto Earth and brought life here. But when it was studied, it was found that actually it wasn't from Mars, but there is this creature which is called a tardigrade, and this creature survives in space without any atmosphere, without any gravity, and it can even survive radiation and cosmic radiation. And this creature is tiny. We need electronic microscopes to see this. So the possibility that such creatures travel from planets to planets using meteorites brings us to believe that maybe life was brought to Earth with such similar creatures. So what about life on Mars? We always thought that life on Mars must have existed. And that's the announcement about that piece of rock. President Clinton announced back in 2000 that that's a fossilized bacteria from Mars. But then the scientists said, no, it's not. And when we went to Mars and researched the planet, we found running water. But this running water has got very high amount of salt. And the chance of life surviving in this kind of salt is very slim. But still, we are not 100% certain if there is life on Mars. We're still researching that, but the possibility is reduced. So if Mars is not the place that has got all the life that we're looking for, where do we think life must be? Where do we start from? Europa is the 4th largest satellite of Jupiter, and it's the 6th largest moon in the solar system. It's slightly smaller than our moon, and the surface is completely frozen. Under the ice, which is approximately 6 to 10 kilometers thick, the scientists believe that there is liquid water. Why? Because we see water emerging from cracks onto the surface in plumes. And that was photographed many times with probes that were sent to Jupiter. And all the water on Europa is 2 times, maybe 3 times, as much as all the water on Earth. That is a lot of liquid water. And another satellite, Cyprus satellite Enceladus, has got molecular hydrogen. And it was recently announced that the space probes have detected that in these plumes, that's hydrogen, molecular hydrogen. What does that mean? We have water, we have volcanoes inside, but we also have hydrogen. And hydrogen is the right type of food for bacteria to synthesize other molecules and create energy. So liquid water and molecular hydrogen means very high likelihood of life existing on those satellites. I'm going to go through a quick journey about the Cyprus Space Exploration Organization. I'm going to speak about some of the highlights. The first highlight is when back in 2014, when we were first formed, our team Martians proposed a project to explore planets with what we call wireless sensor networks. That project was sent to SpaceOps, and at SpaceOps, it won one of the top 4 awards in the world. Why am I speaking about Martians? You will see in a moment how that connects back to Europa. And then, of course, there was a lot of publicity, and we made Cyprus, from having no space program, into becoming one of 21 countries. And then the next year, there was another team. This time, this team proposed a robotic drone for the International Space Station. And that team won the International Award for Best Mission Concept at the International Space Apps competition. And he was invited to go to Cape Canaveral to watch a launch from NASA that goes to the International Space Station. And then the organization, the Cyprus Space Exploration Organization, made Cyprus a member of the European Space Agency. And that automatically opens the window of opportunity for us to cooperate with the rest of the European countries, but most important, with the leaders of space exploration, like Roscosmos. Because Roscosmos is cooperating strongly with the European Space Agency. And here is the moment that we signed the agreement with the European Space Agency. And education. Education is very, very important, because if we're going to be competing in space and have any space program, we need to start with our young people. So we do education in most schools in Cyprus non-stop. And we even had astronauts presenting to thousands of children in schools. So we are continuously preparing the next generation of scientists. And of course, we travel abroad and we meet with friends from all over the world. Volkov here. We have Doklad, the President of the European Space Agency, and many others. We signed many agreements, and we even presented the Cyprus space program to Comedy Central. And many people say, why did you choose to present at Comedy Central? Because for many people, the Cyprus space program sounds like a comedy. But the reality is that, no, it's not a comedy anymore, because we have so many successes in only 5 years. And here we're showing how we stimulate the space sector in Cyprus. We made a documentary that was shown on national TV. And as you know, the population of Cyprus is approximately 800,000. More than 100,000 people saw this documentary, and we stimulated people for space.
Hello, welcome to the guest in the auditorium for Cyprus Space Exploration Organization premiere of the first Cypriot space documentary.
And the most important things, I'm leaving them for last. We made Cyprus a member of the International Astronautical Federation. This and COSPAR were the National Scientific Institute for Cyprus to COSPAR. COSPAR is the Committee on Space Research, and via IAF and COSPAR, we can jointly work on scientific papers, symposia, and others. And we are one of the founding members of the Copernicus Academy Network that utilizes data from satellites into solving earthbound problems. And we are an educational partner of NASA. We are one of the few in the area, the only one in the Eastern Mediterranean that is allowed to do space education with NASA. And of course, we are working towards making that reality also with Roscosmos, hopefully. So, in Cyprus, we show how in only 3 years, because we started in 2013 towards 2014. So in the first few years, what we did is we have 18,000 people following the organization. This is a very high percentage, higher than any other European country and higher than European Space Agency. It's approximately 5% of the population, where for the European Space Agency is approximately 0.2%. So what's coming next for Cyprus? We are giving access to space. Remember we spoke about Europa and finding life on Europa? Well, the first mission to Europa has been announced from NASA and the European Space Agency, and the Cyprus Space Exploration Organization will be part of that mission to discover life. And as such, we are giving the next generations the chance to participate in such important projects. And that's the end of my presentation.